Hey y'all, welcome to Marriage Minutes Space. And today we're going to talk about getting naked.
Oh Lord.
And so I came up with this idea. I was doing some shopping, and Cheetos and Doritos have a naked version of themselves. And so no additives or preservatives. And it got me to thinking, are we back at that point where God had us in the garden where we were naked and not ashamed? And so I was thinking, let's talk about it. How can your marriage get back to being naked?
Oh, so that was like
Yeah.
leading. Well, I think for it to get back to being naked, it had to be naked in the first place.
Mm.
So I don't know that every marriage can say, I'm getting back to it, because more than I think not, couples get married very clothed.
Okay. So they have a lot of additives and preservatives.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so I'm not saying there aren't, I'm not saying every couple,
Hmm.
but the majority of us get married holding back some things that we don't like about ourselves,
Okay.
or life sometimes does not show us who we are until we get married. So I don't know. I get where you're going with that, but I don't know how you get back to being naked if you weren't naked at first. But let's keep talking and maybe I'll figure that out.
Okay. So two things there. You said that there's usually some additives and then there are some preservatives within ourselves that allows us not to be naked. And so um, I think, but the key thing is self-awareness, would you say,
Yes.
of knowing what those ingredients that are made or make you who you are, and take an evaluation to see what's beneficial and then what's detrimental.
Yeah, yeah. And from I get that for sure. And I guess one way I can equate back to the nakedness is we were just having a conversation with a younger couple, and one of the things that came up is that vulnerability
Mm.
that sometimes hinders us from being naked with one another. And I gave the analogy of the couple waking up on separate park benches in the middle of the day, butt naked. And their initial reaction was, "What does that feel?" And I said, "That's what it feels like to me to be naked in your relationships, because it requires vulnerability." And so I ain't heard about these chips. I'm gonna be honest with you. Know I'm a chip head, so I'm biased to even thinking that something that says
Doritos
naked
or Cheetos.
Doritos is gonna be good, but I do understand the whole point behind that. So now I'm talking about how are we naked? And also I'm talking about the vulnerability that comes with nakedness.
I would say one of the things that an additive or a preservative that was present in my life when we first got married is um, you were in a profession that had a certain level of prestige, being a physical therapist. And so I looked at myself and my own insecurities and was like, okay, I got to bring something to the table. So those insecurities presented something that was a preservative, like or additive, like, okay, there's something in me that's triggered by her employment. And so I felt somewhat inadequate. Like I needed to step my game up. I needed to bring myself up to bring something to the table. That could be a benefit or that could be a negative, depending on one, how it's communicated, and then two, if I allow myself to be vulnerable within this relationship. It may be much about nothing, but if I don't communicate it and share it with you, then it could definitely be one of those preservatives that you find out 10 years from now was very detrimental to your existence.
Can I push into that a little bit more? So
Yeah.
you said that you were triggered, and I think that there are men out there that would understand and empathize kind of with what you were feeling. But what is that? What was the trigger? Like I heard what it was, but what in you said that I needed to be different because of what she was or what she had attained?
I think it's based upon my value system.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's based upon how I saw myself. Uh, and if somebody else presented different, then, it's just like, playing, children growing up and playing in the yard and you picking teams, if I don't show a skill set that's beneficial, I may not be getting chosen for the team.
But I chose you.
Yeah, but I may
You
get,
may.
disqualified. I may, so.
I get it. I get it. So I like that. I wanted to bring that back around and maybe
Okay.
this will kind of frame this. What you just said was very vulnerable, very naked for a man to be able to have the humility to say that. And I think that that is the whole point behind the no preservatives or additives in something. It wants to be presented as clean. And I think that that is what Christ's sacrifice to us did. It helped us to be clean because we can't do it on our own,
Yeah.
because it's plagued with the triggers, it's plagued with the past, it's plagued with all those things. And so we need him
Yeah.
to be able to cover us so that we can continue to be more naked. And I'll tell you this, I am fascinated by I'm fascinated by the enemy, that
Hmm.
he would trick you into believing that something, the thought or the stance that you're taking is less than, or whatever it was. I just am in awe at the enemy that he could do that to you, because it's the polar opposite. It's the polar opposite to be able to be brave and to stand in something that other people are experiencing but won't share.
Yeah, but I think for a man, based upon our identity, is working or tilling the ground, so to speak. And so it's almost like an easy target,
Yeah.
if I can get him to think less of himself in the one thing that God instructed him to do, I can really capture him. And if nothing else, I can distract him, or I can give him a certain level of being stuck and not advancing. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
definitely.
Sneaky little something,
Yeah,
something.
sneaky, sneaky. So,
I like
hey,
that topic, sweetheart.
hey, get naked. Remove the additives and
Did we
preservatives.
talk about it about marriage? That was more like individual growth. And if you work on yourself, your marriage will get better. So
Oh,
I'm sorry,
I
go
guess
ahead.
that's the plug, huh?
I was supposed to say like and subscribe and something else
No,
too.
we're fine.
You want to do all
Be
that?
be well and be blessed.
Say that.
No.